All right, Timothy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
You're in
Been
Canada.
a while, buddy.
Yeah, you're in Canada right now. Thank you so much for coming forward to
Yes.
share this wonderful story about your friend, your childhood friend, who happened to have cancer, right? And
Yes, multiple types of cancer.
multiple types of cancer. So let's start with the
Ye-
history. So what kind of cancer was it? A tumor, a big one, or what was it? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was just 2 months ago. He's been complaining for 2 years, and the doctors kept writing him off. And finally, he got a test where they put the camera up his, I don't know what they call it, rectum. In your
Oh,
rectum.
rectum, colonoscopy, right?
Yes. And it wouldn't go up. The tumor was that big.
Wow. So they saw
So
it.
they had to relocate, yeah, he had to immediately have a surgery to relocate his bowels out to a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did further investigation with x rays and found out he had cancer of the liver, 7 spots of cancer in his lungs, and one of his valve is leaking of some sort. I don't know if it's the blood or it's not functioning properly. And his sugar level is going crazy. He's also a diabetic as well. He's been diabetic now for 15 years. Yeah, it takes like 4 needles a day. But also, too, the size of the tumors, I mean, it's unbelievable. So that's one of the two questions that I'm working on now for him to ask the doctor. How big was it when we first started the treatment, and how small it is now? That's one thing he did not mention. The second question I need to know, which is very important, is that when it pertains to his sugars levels, like when he's on a treatment, it's a liquid that they drink, and it comes in a bag and it goes into the body,
Okay.
and and it takes 3 days, goes through chemotherapy. So the liquid goes. They implanted a thing in his side, and they just hook up a bag, and it drains into his system for 3 days. Then
Mm-hmm.
after 3 days, he's on a break for like a week, and then he does it again and again. Well, at first he was sick every day. Like
Wow.
it was amazing how potent the stuff is. But then I went down and I told him, I said, look, you got to go on the machines. And it didn't take no argument. I said, what do you got to lose? It might save your life.
Yeah. So we are talking
So
about
he's willing to try anything.
this machine, right?
That one as well as the eye doc.
Yeah.
Both.
Both the machines.
Both play a big, oh yeah, absolutely. Both play a big role,
Okay.
One does not work out the other. As you know,
Okay.
one does one treatment, which is your software, and the other one's your hardware, which is the
Yeah.
one you just showed there.
Very
So
different.
what it amounts to is, yes, and they both work hand in hand. I really know that now
Yeah.
because I really monitor him. And like I told you, I was waiting for the set
The size of the
paperwork
tumor,
or
right? You're saying about the
pictures.
measurement, the size of the tumor.
Absolutely. I want to know how big it was and how fast, because I know how much time he's been on the machines.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had an indicator before he got his results from, I said, how's your diabetics doing right now? This was after the 4th week on the machines. And there's a reason why I tackled that question, because it's a question of when I knew that certain thing happens, then it would follow suit, which is when you're on your treatment, your chemo, it kills your insulin, right? He goes, yeah, my insulin goes through the roof. He says, it's a nightmare. I can't even get a reading. And he said, but once the 3 days after the drainage of the chemo, he says, I get a reading now. He said, at first, I'm typically in 15, 25 now. And I said, well, what is the number that you would be happy with? Yes.
He completed his chemo, and then his numbers started to stabilize for his sugar level, which was what?
After 15 days.
Yeah, after 15 days having completed his chemo, and there was
No, no.
then what was the reading of his sugar level?
Well, that's the thing. Before I started on the treatment, it was beyond 20s, right? So I started on the treatment, And then I said, once we start this treatment, the first indicator I need from you is when you find that once after the 3 days of your chemo, where it's more stable, it's not tackling the insulin, could you tell me what your numbers are? Well, after 15 days, I was talking, he goes, now that you say it, it's between 8 and 10. I said, is that reasonable? He said, that's very good. I don't have to take my shot, my insulin.
Amazing.
But he said, I still have to take, because I eat a couple cookies. And I said, you're kill me, buddy. Don't eat sugar. You're feeding the parasites. So after 3rd week, he said it's more stable. Then that's when I was like, aha, that means that the big machine, or the D178, it's doing its work. That means his body now is alkali level enough that it's killing off at 7.15 your parasites.
So at that time, he only did the D178. He didn't do the eye dog yet.
Oh, both.
He did both. Okay.
No.
So for the eye dog, he did the diabetes points, diabetic points, or ear clip. Or
I got him right on the clips, and the reason why I got him on the clips is because there's too many different places of the cancer being in the body that I want to concentrate on all at once, because it was in his lungs, it was in his liver, and in his bowels. So I just said, no, put it on there and handle as much as you can take it. He said, and I told him I want it morning and night, both of them.
Okay.
So, but he was so sick he could only do it once a day, both of them, for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I told him an hour on the D178 and then half an hour on the eye doc. Okay. And lo and behold, in 15 days, his insulin started to stay sugar level between 7 and 10.
That's great.
That's when I told you. I said, oh, yeah. So I said, that's when I told you, stay tuned. I said, I'll get results when the MRI comes in, right?
Yeah.
So when they come in, and I said, so Randy, how'd you make out? What did the MRI say? You're not going to believe it. I said, what? He said, all 7 spots in my lungs are gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And the cancer in his liver is totally gone. It's only a little scar.
Wow.
That's it. And on top of that, and I'm getting with verification because I don't want to lie about it, but his tumor, I believe it was about the size of like a coconut.
So
okay,
big.
Give you an idea of the size.
Wow.
It had to be because it was blocking his bowels. He couldn't poop. It was that big. Right? I'm guessing, no. But the fact is that now it's I think it's only the size of a walnut or something, because the doctor says, well, it's good, but we're going to keep you on chemo for 3 more months because we want to make sure the tumor's enough so we can operate. And I don't operate. Just in 3 months' time, when he goes to give you another MRI, it's gone. He won't know where it was, because if it already made only little spots where it was on the lungs, like it's completely gone, and the liver's completely healed, I guarantee you that that tumor is going to be completely gone. He won't know where it was, or he won't be able to find it. There won't be nothing to cut out. Okay. The only thing he's going to have to operate is put your cells back together.
So, because he completed his chemo, and after he completed his chemo, the 7 spots were still there, the liver cancer was still there, and the tumor was still huge. No. When he started chemo, he called us, and I made a special meeting the first week he started on this chemo. Like, that was my shocker, knowing that he's got cancer. So when he told me, I said, how long you been on the chemo? For 1 week. And it's just unbelievable. I said, okay. So I got the machine together, I went down where he lived the following week. So he's been on chemo for 2 weeks. That's when I put him on the machines. So he was already on the chemo for 2 weeks, but his results were just last week for the first session of the chemotherapy. But there was nothing to find. Okay, so of course, to those some skeptics of our machine out there, they could also say that it's because of the chemo. That's why, Oh yeah, they could. Yeah, they I'm glad they. So it's subject to. Let's be transparent about it. Let's be open about it, right, Timothy? You want to be open about it. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I'm telling you, I'll be honest with you. Like I said, during his chemo, I said,
it's okay. Go on the machines, because I'm not depending on the chemo, because I know the next stage would be radiation. But we had it was such a tremendous results within what, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe that. That's the second question I told him he's got to ask the doctor. How rare is it you give chemo to a person and within 6 weeks all my cancer is gone? Is it like a 10%, or is it 50%, or this is just normal? And I don't know why.
The doctors will say the chemo is the one that killed him, but you and I will say it's the D178 and the eye dog that killed him. So
I know for sure it was the machines.
anyway,
I got really technical to how I monitor it, right? Like I say, like you're the big machine is doing what it's supposed to. It's turning your body to an alkaline level. Once the stem cells does not have the enemies anymore, which is all the differential types of parasites in your body, then it has no enemy. Then it can concentrate and it moves quickly from that point on to a 7.25 to kill cancer cells. So within that 6 week, my guess is like I told you, in 3 weeks' time, his sugar level started to stay between 7 to 10. That told me that the parasites that was attacking the pancreas were dead. So that meant all the parasites were dead. And I said, Randy, you watch. In 2 or 3 weeks' time, when you go to get your MRI, you won't have any more cancer. Yeah, right, Tim. It's not going to happen within that time frame. I said, well, I'm just going by what I think, because you're controlling your sugar now. And you've been diabetic for how long now? 15 years? Why is it all of a sudden it's been staying to normal for the 2.5 weeks, except for those 3 days that you take your...
that's a very good point, right? Because that's a very good point, because the diabetes has nothing to do with the chemotherapy, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
so
it doesn't.
So the sugar level for his diabetic problem can only be attributed to the D178 and the IDOL. I mean, that's...
Yeah. I researched, and I was trying to figure out what shuts down the pancreas. Well, Lord behold, I'll send you the video. It's parasites. It's a specific type of parasite that attacks.
So you get up to more than a pH of 7.2, no parasites can survive.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then after that, and what happens when that factor happens, where the stem cells, they're constantly fixing what the parasites are doing to your body. Okay, but once the parasites are dead and the eggs are dead of the parasites, it has no more enemies. So it now it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do, fight the cancer cells. But however, all of a sudden your alkali level goes to 7.25. Well, all cancer cells can't live after 7.25, an alkali body. Yeah. And that's within 6 weeks. I mean, he does have no more cancer. And liver cancer is one of the worst.
No more cancer and no longer a diabetic. Oh, it's healing tremendously.
Right? And that's where the shocker is going to be in, because after 3 months, and you don't take that potion anymore from the doctor, and his sugar level always stays level between 7 and 10, then that's going to make him a believer, because he says, man, I have to take 4 needles a day. Now I'm only taking 1 because I might cheat and have some cookies.
Anyway, thanks. Thanks, Tim. All right, bye.
You're most welcome, my friend.